a few. Each was begun on British soil and brought to fruition with American assistance in universities, laboratories, and factories on both sides of the Atlantic. Before America entered war in December 1941, the British government had quite a different cooperative arrangement in mind. In August 1941, 4 months before Pearl Harbor, the Foreign Office asked its U.S. Ambassador Edward Wood, Earl of Halifax, to request a limited number of American personnel for work in British facilities. The Ministry of Supply wanted electrical and general engineers, chemists, and physicists. The Ministry of Aircraft Production specified a few dozen engineers for wind tunnels and flight test, and the Admiralty wanted a handful of radio and electronics engineers. But with Britain's scientific infrastructure dispersed or damaged by regular attacks from the Luftwaffe, this arrangement would have deprived Allied technical cooperation of its most valuable resource, American research, development, and production facilities far removed from the threat of war, with ample space, energy, and above all people to carry out the work of two nations. In the event, over the course of the war, Americans and British continuously crossed the Atlantic to work in each other's facilities, while the OSRD London mission established 2 American radar laboratories in the rolling hills of western England, side by side with their British counterparts. Many histories of World War II are told from the top down, focusing on leaders like Winston Churchill, Franklin Roosevelt, and Dwight Eisenhower. Others are bottom up, telling the stories of the British soldiers at Sword Beach or the Tuskegee Airmen who escorted bombers to Berlin. In both approaches, weapons and equipment often appear suddenly, unheralded on the battlefront. This book heralds them and their creators. It falls squarely in what historian Paul Kennedy calls history from the middle, portraying those who worked in the space between the leaders and the front lines, producing the weapons and innovations that converted strategy into operational solutions for the foot soldier, airman, and deck plate sailor. Some of these weapons and innovations were credited with winning World War II. The claim of Lee Dubridge, the head of the MIT Radiation Laboratory, is often cited. The atom bomb only ended the war. Radar won it. Other candidates for winning the war have included the P-51 Mustang fighter, the Liberty ship, the proximity fuze, and the landing ship tank, LST. While any one of these may have helped turn the tide, all were the product of the close partnership between British and American scientists, engineers, and workers. This book not only describes the technologies and how they were used in battle, it also portrays those who developed them. It is not often realized that for every frontline American fighter, there were 5 people behind him carrying out the critical jobs of designing, building, and equipping him with what he needed for the fight. Roosevelt himself recognized that the home front was every bit as important as the battlefront. As he stated for his budget to Congress in January 1942, just after America entered the war, "Powerful enemies must be outfought and outproduced." My book, Brothers at Arms, American Independence and the Men of France and Spain Who Saved It, describes the collaboration between the 3 nations in the title and how they defeated their common British adversary and cemented the creation of the American nation. Soon after its publication, my agent, Michelle Tesler, asked the question that every agent poses to an author: "What is your next book about?" I knew I wanted to pursue the theme of collaboration, and after several false starts, I hit upon that between the United States and Great Britain during World War II. The subject has been tackled in parts: airborne radar in one book, the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine in another, but I found that no one had put together all the pieces to give a full picture of the vast extent of that effort. It was, as I discovered, industrial-scale cooperation for an industrial-scale war. World War II was the largest conflict ever fought, which spanned every continent, including Antarctica. It therefore would be impossible to discuss